All right, this video is going over question 13. Remember, first step is to look for any extraneous solutions and write them down. So to do that, I am going to factor any of my denominators, and I'm going to write what x can equal over to the side. So looking at the first one, 1 over x plus 3, it's undefined at negative 3. At the second one, x minus 3, that means that 2 over x minus 3 is undefined at 3. And the third fraction, it's undefined at both negative 3 and 3. So we just have to make sure if our answers end up being negative 3 or 3, we don't include them because they're not part of our original domain. So I'm going to get a common denominator. To do that here, I'm missing the x minus 3. If I multiply the bottom by that, I have to do the top by that. For this one, I'm multiplying the x plus 3. So if I multiply the bottom by that, then I have to multiply the top by that as well. So I'm left over with x minus 3 all over x minus 3 times x plus 3 plus 2 times x plus 3 all over x minus 3 times x plus 3 equals 4 all over x plus 3 times x minus 3. Now, since the denominators are the same, we can just cross them out. The reason we can cross them out is because we're multiplying both sides of the equation by the LCD. And when you do that, they all cancel. So we're left over with x minus 3 plus 2 times x plus 3 equals 4. And now we have a basic algebra 1 equation. So we're going to get our like terms together. I'm going to subtract 3. And then I'm going to divide by 3, and I get 1/3 for my answer. I check to see that 1/3 is not part of my extraneous solutions, and it isn't. And then I put that in my set builder notation. Okay, so looking at letter B, our first step is to figure out our extraneous solutions. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to look and see with each rational equation what makes it undefined. To help me do that, I do need to factor in that third fraction. So if you look at the first fraction, what makes that undefined is when x equals 4, you would have 4 divided by 0, which is undefined. In the second fraction is negative 3. If you plugged in negative 3, you'd have 1 divided by 0, which is undefined. And in the third fraction, you would have, with either one, you would have 28 divided by 0. So we just have to make sure if we get either one of those answers in the end, we can include them in our solutions. So now my next step is to get a common denominator, and we want a least common denominator. So when we're looking here, the factor that I'm missing is x plus 3. If I multiply the bottom by that, I have to multiply the top by that. This one I'm missing an x minus 4. If I multiply the denominator by that, I have to multiply the numerator by that. And then in the third fraction, it already has both factors, x minus 4 times x plus 3, so we're good to go. So technically, yes, we can just cross off our denominator once we have them equal. The reason is because we're multiplying both sides of our equation by the LCD. If you were to distribute that through, the factors would cancel, and you would be left over with x times x plus 3 minus 1 times x minus 4 equals 28. I'll distribute here. Here I have to distribute a negative 1, so be careful. And because I have a quadratic, I know in order to solve this, I have to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 28 from both sides. So I'm going to have x squared, 3x minus 1x is 2x. 4 minus 28 is a negative 24. And now I need two factors of negative 24 that add up to 2. So I know one's going to be negative and one's going to be positive. And my factors of negative 24 that add up to 2. So if you're thinking about this, you'll have negative 1 and 24, negative 2 and 12, negative 3 and 8, negative 4 and 6. And right there, that adds up to positive 2. And if I solve these by setting them equal to 0, I get x equals 4 and negative 6. Now, before I put that in my solution set, I make sure that it's not part of our extraneous solutions, and unfortunately the 4 is, so it can't work, but -6 is not, so -6 would be our only solution. Okay, moving on to letter C. Something to think about from the very beginning is the domain of radicals. Remember, whatever's underneath your radical must be greater than or equal to 0. So looking at the first radical, 2x plus 1 must be greater than or equal to 0. If I solve that, x must be greater than or equal to -1/2. So why we think about this is because if I solved it and I got a value less than -1/2, I don't even have to spend time checking it because it's not in the domain. If I look at the other one, 3 minus 4x must be greater than or equal to 0. If I solve that, I divide by -4, x must be less than or equal to a +3/4. So our answer has to fall into both domains. So all values greater than or equal to -1/2 and less than or equal to 3/4. If they don't, they're not going to work. So now since I have a radical equals a radical, we can just square both sides. When you square a radical, it just gets rid of the radical sign. I'm going to add 4 to both sides and subtract 1. And when I divide by 6, I get x equals 1/3. Now notice that 1/3 is greater than or equal to -1/2, and it's less than or equal to 3/4. So it satisfies both domains. Still doesn't mean it's going to work, so you do actually have to check it. And you always have to go back to the original because once we square both sides of an equation, we can create answers that look like they're going to work, but they actually don't. So that's why you always have to go back to your original domain. So here I get 2/3 plus 1, and so that's the square root of 5/3. Here I get 3 minus 4/3, and that's the square root of 5/3, and so that checks. And so your answer here is 1 divided by 3. All right, so now this last one, if you look at what's underneath your radical, that's 2x plus 1. So if I set that greater than or equal to 0 and solve, I get x must be greater than or equal to -1/2. Again, if you get an answer that is less than -1/2, you know it can't work because it's not part of your domain, so right away you can cross it off. Now looking at this problem, you only have one radical, but we have that 7 there. We want to move that to the other side because our goal is to isolate that radical if possible, and we can do it by subtracting 7. So now when I square it, it's a little bit nicer than having to square it with the +7 because you would have had to FOIL that. On the right side though, you are going to have to FOIL. When I FOIL that, I get x squared minus 14x plus 49. Now since I have a quadratic, we have to set this equal to 0 to solve. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. And now our goal here is we want two factors of 48 that add up to -16. Now, since we want them to add up to -16, we know they both must be negative. So our two factors of 48 that will add up to -16 will be -4 and -12, because -4 times -12 is 48, and -4 plus -12 is -16. If I set those equal to 0 and solve, I get 4 and 12. Now both of those satisfy this domain. They're both greater than or equal to -1/2, so we are just going to have to check both of those. And when you check it, again, you have to go back to the original problem. So we'll do the square root of 2 times 4 plus 1 plus 7. Does that equal 4? This gives me the square root of 9. And that gives me 3 plus 7 equal to 4. That is not true, so 4 doesn't work. So next we'll plug in 12. 2 times 12 plus 1 plus 7 equals 12. And that gives me the square root of 25, which is 5 plus 7 does equal 12. So 12 is our only solution.